Hello, good evening, everyone. Happy Sunday. Welcome to the day four of the 1 month free professional diploma training in human rights and social justice. The free professional diploma training is a professional training provided by the Institute of Global Peace and Conflict Management that is aimed to empower our followers and our subscribers on Facebook and on YouTube. And we have started this training since July this year, and we have done training on peace education, have done training on emotional intelligence, we have done training on alternative dispute resolution, we've done training on peace and conflict management, peace and sustainable development, and we are currently on human rights and social justice. This training is being provided for free, and since July to this very day, we have issued more than 1,000 certificates of those who graduated from this training. And by the time we issue the certificate for the last batch and this batch, it's possible that we'll reach up to 2,000 people that we have impacted through this training. So this training is making so much impact across the globe. It's not just in Nigeria, it's in Africa, it's even we have people that join us all around the world and they are benefiting from it. And we are happy to see that we are creating impact in our generation in our own small way. So I would like to welcome all of you for today's training. And I sincerely want to appreciate those of you that have been consistent in participating in this training. You have not tired, you have not shown element of tiredness. You are always around to participate. And we sincerely appreciate all of you for taking time to be part of today's training as well. So if you have just joined us, you do way to tell us where you're joining us from, your name, your country, or your location. It will help us. So do way to share with us your name, here you're joining us from, your country or your state. Here you are. Want to know you. Yes, I can see Alice Nabi from Kenya. I can also see Yusuf Mustafa uh, from Plateau, Nigeria. Yes. Share with us where you're joining us from. You can see Sarah from Nigeria. We can see Kenneth Michael from Nigeria. Pagan Wisin from Nigeria. Of course, we have seen Mark Godson. We have seen Daniel Okelo Odukami from Uganda. You're welcome all the way from Uganda. We're happy to have you. Thomas Olens Oko, you're welcome from Nigeria. We have Nela Fusi from Lesotho. And Nela, when are you inviting us to Lesotho? We want to come to Lesotho, we want to come and see how the country look like. All right. Lesotho is one of the countries in Southern Africa. Right. So we have Luis from Nigeria joining us. We welcome all of you. Thank you for taking time to be part of today's training. We sincerely appreciate all of you for taking time to be part of today's training. Of course, our usual and always Paul Oka, also from Nigeria, always punctual, always first to join. We have Najita from Chad, Bamajita Najita from Chad. Uh, It's like I'm supposed to issue you a certificate, Najita, or a serial number to download your certificate. Please chat me in WhatsApp in WhatsApp. Just chat me on WhatsApp. Chat me in my inbox. Let me just remind me that I'm to send you something so that I will send it to you, please, from Chad. That's fine. It's good to have you. We have Lawrence Molunda from Zambia. We have Kennedy Jordan from Kenya. We have Wikasa, who is also a member of the institute from Kenya as well. And of course, Alice too is a member of the institute from Kenya. Uh, then we have Daniel from Ghana. We have Clement from South Sudan. That's good. You're welcome. You're welcome. We have Pat Winson from Adamawa. And we have Tafa Justin, right, from Nigeria, Gusau. And we have Samson Kofi from Ghana. So it's a pleasure to welcome all of you. And if you have not gotten your certificate on peace and sustainable development, I can see some people are chatting me here like that. Just chat me on WhatsApp so that I'll send you the serial number so that I can get your certificate, right? Then we have Lochap John Robert from Uganda, and we have Bernard Obu Asare from Ghana, and Munga Colin from Zambia, and the worker from Lesotho, and so many of you joining around the world. And it's going to be beautiful if we have all of you coordinating this program in your country, mobilizing membership of the institute globally, because our target is that by 50-50 we should have a membership of 1 billion across the globe. Do you understand? Across the all the continents of the world, the membership of the institute should reach up to 1 billion people. So um, we will need aggressive people to like represent the institute in their own countries. Those that are aggressive in terms of mobilizing membership, in terms of conducting activities of the institute, intervention, mediation, advocacy programs, and all of that. We need such people that can be able to mobilize resources, both human resources, both financial resources, both knowledgeable skills to be able to reach out to people in their communities and get them to be members of the institute so that we can achieve the target we want to achieve by 2050. All right, so we are on to that. The flyer on for representatives in various countries coming out very soon, so you can apply. We'll screen you within the month, and then train you, and then induct you and get you commission to go and start in your own countries. All right, so we're expecting to see something good coming in the years to come. All right, so thank you very much for being part of this training. You're welcome. All right, so what are we doing now? Today, if you join us, please do wait to share the link with someone. Put it on your wall, the Facebook wall. Share it on YouTube. Just share it. Share it to people. Share. Put it on your wall. Invite people to join. Do you understand? And then let them be part of what is happening here. So today, I want us to look at. I want us to look at a very interesting topic. We are looking at coming. Let me, let me get the topic right. So we're looking at challenges to human rights and social justice. Challenges to human rights and social justice. And we'll be looking at cultural relativism and universalism. Cultural what? Relativism and universalism. We'll also look at political and economic barriers. We'll look at gender, race, and class inequalities. All right. So these are the things that we're going to cover in today's training. All right. So let's get started. Let's go ahead. So in unit 4, part A, we are going to look at cultural relativism and universalism. Cultural what? Relativism and universalism. So when we talk about cultural relativism and universalism, what does that mean to you? All right. So we're going to define the two concepts differently so that you have an in-depth understanding of what we're trying to say here. All right. Cultural relativism argues that norms and values are culturally specific. Norms and values. Norms and values. Understand? Underline the words values and norms. All right. They are culturally unique, specific, and no culture is inherently superior to another. And no culture is what? Inherently superior to another. One we say that cultural norms and values are peculiar, specific, and unique. That's what we're saying. Number two, we're saying that and that no culture is inherently superior to another. Do we have superior cultures? Not necessarily, but we may have different values and different norms. You understand? How we manage time here may be different from how other people manage time elsewhere. Do you understand? How we attend to work here may be different from how others attend to work. Even in the country, in the in the northern and southern parts of Nigeria, the way people approach work in the northern part is different from the way people approach the work in the southern part of the country. You understand? So you can see that values and norms are peculiar. They are specific. They are unique to each and every culture. But that does not necessarily make any culture superior to another. You have your own culture, I have my own. Even the bush people in southern Africa, those people that I used to watch their videos, very terrible, terrible, terrible experience. As terrible as it may sound to me, like how I look at it, as typical as it may appear, that is their own culture. And whatever they do, as they value and as they know, as they value, as they value their culture, and of course, and the norms guiding their culture, and they are okay with it, so be it. Do you understand? Those people are called bush people, they will be cooking meat is on fire, that hot meat on fire with that stew, hot one. Do you understand? They will remove a chunk of meat and they will be eating as like from the fire direct to the mouth, and then they fetch the stew. I wonder how I will survive that. Do you understand? But that's how they have been eating it and they are okay. They are living their lives. I don't know what they used to they bath. They don't. I don't know what they used to bath at all. I don't know what they used to bath at all. I can't just imagine it. You understand? But they're okay. They are moving on with their lives. That's their culture. So because I bath, I dress so cute, you know, I eat warm food that are just warm moderately, that does make me different. Does that make me so superior to them? So These are some of the things. Do you understand? Just that values and norms are different. And so if we embrace the norms that look at you as more advanced in terms of maybe experience, in terms of how you can interact, communicate, and then the way of life, and then you feel that you're superior to that one. No, you're not. So that is what cultural relativism is saying. The argument is that norms and values are culturally specific, but no culture is superior to another. Then let's look at, so what do we encourage here? We encourage understanding and tolerance of practices and beliefs within their cultural context. That is, cultural relativism encourages understanding and tolerance, most especially in practice and in beliefs within cultural context, because it is easy that I get offended with the way somebody is behaving. And maybe that is culturally, it's normal with him. It's the right thing. It's a normal thing. But for me, I may be looking at it anyhow. Like, oh, it's awful. That is terrible. Do you understand? So, but what it requires is that I should be able to tolerate this person's belief. This person is a gay, LGBT. I should be able to tolerate the person. This person is a Muslim. I should be able to tolerate him. This person is a Christian. I should be able to tolerate him. It doesn't matter the diverse differences or the differences that are there. It doesn't matter. What matters is that we should be able to tolerate these differences, these peculiarities. We should be able to accommodate them. Do you understand? This uniqueness. That's what makes me unique. That's what makes you unique. Your belief, your norms, your values, they make you unique. And of course, they make me unique as well. So we should be able to tolerate one another. This is what we're talking about here. So let's look at universalism. Universalism posits that certain rights, ethics, and values apply universally to all humans, irrespective of culture. Universalism argues that certain rights, ethics, and values apply universally to all humans, irrespective of culture. So it emphasizes the universality of principles such as equality, freedom, and justice. Who doesn't like freedom? We all want freedom. Even if we want to mismanage it, let's have it first. You understand? Who doesn't want justice? We all want justice. So these rights, we all want them. I want justice. I want equality if possible. And if we cannot achieve equality, let's achieve equity. Do you understand? Then freedom. I should be able to express myself without any form of fear or intimidation. I should be able to participate in the affairs of my country without being afraid of anything, without being intimidated by anyone. Do you understand? So universality. So some of these principles are universally applied. Every society, every culture wants equality, they want freedom, they want justice. That is why, that is why today, Assad, after how many years of ruling and all the troubles in Syria. He flew his country today because people are asking for freedom, right? So he flew his country, left Syria now after several years of devastation. So terrible. Freedom is the freedom that the Palestinians are always engaging the Israelites. Why? They want freedom. So which culture that does not want freedom? It's the freedom that make the IPO, the IP, is it IPOB or whatever, IPOP or whatever, IPOP or whatever, that are making agitation in the southern, um, eastern part of Nigeria. You understand? So it's freedom because there is injustice, there is marginalization, there is inequality in the distribution of the resources of this country. If you look at the system itself, the structural system itself is imbalanced. Some states have five, some zones have five states, while other zones have six. Some states have less local governments, some have more local governments. Some states have more representation in the National Assembly, most especially the House of Representatives, more than other states. So what are we saying? Equality, freedom. Do you understand? Equality, freedom. So these are the issues. So let's look at key features. Key features in what? Key features. Key features. Key features. Key features in what? Cultural relativism. One, it emphasizes what diversity and it rejects ethnocentrism. Yes, emphasizes diversity and avoids what? Ethnocentrism. So let there be diversity. Diversity inclusion, right? Let different groups be incorporated. That's why we have diversity management programs. Do you understand? Diversity. So let people be diverse. Let diverse group of people work together and let them come together to you know achieve what they want to achieve. And then it also risks justifying harmful practices like child marriages, dowry dates, and caste discrimination. So that's another challenge. That's the risk. You understand? Because we say culture, cultural peculiarities. Do you understand? So if a particular culture is comfortable with child marriage, why are we complaining? Because we say there are some practices, there are some values, there are some norms that are what? Peculiar, they are unique. So, but I think we used to condemn child marriage when we see it, most especially in the northern part of the country, right? We used to condemn it, right? But you can see what we're saying here. So by this, it risks justifying harmful practices. So we consider child marriage as a harmful practice. And it can be easily be justified. Why? Because we say that some values, some norms are what's peculiar to certain cultures. So somebody can marry a child but still justify it. Our culture does not prohibit it. Our culture does not frown at that. So I didn't do any crime. All right. That's why that Equatorial Guinea man, the news here and there, but I think it's dying down now because, and I think practically the state is not doing anything about it simply because they say, well, this man is an adult and the people he engaged are adults, so there's no issue. Do you understand? There's no issue, there's committed no crime. So, dowry, date, or caste discrimination, all of those things can be justified, but they are harmful practices. All right. So, universalism promotes global standards like human rights. We have been talking about human rights issues here, right? So, we have been talking about the rights of people being protected, being shielded. So now, but even universalism risk exposing Western ideas, or it risks what imposing Western ideas or ideas on non-Western cultures, cultural imperialism. And I think we have been experiencing that cultural imperialism has been a problem, most especially in the waves of this globalization. So there's a globalization of culture. Do you understand? Globalization of culture where in this kind of hot sun like this, so if you see me on my tie, not tie, put suit. I'm sweating so profusely, but I am still enjoying it because you understand. So because if for instance now if you want me to dress how my forefathers used to dress, it will not be funny. It will not be funny. Do you understand? No, be funny at all. So that's why in my place now, if they want to dress you traditionally, they have that kind of dress. You wrap, put your cap, and then give you something to hold and moving around. Do you understand? Uh-huh. So cultural relativism example, traditional dress codes like the hijab or the sari are viewed as cultural expression, not oppressive symbols. They are cultural expression. So when you see a young Muslim faithful lady with hijab, it is a cultural expression, not oppression. How do you even know? It's not, they are not being oppressed. It's their way of life. It's their way of life and it's their belief system. Do you understand? That's why even when the Iranian women made case, but it did not go far because it is their way of life. You understand? So all the Western influences that were trying to penetrate were still crushed because their way of life still dominate those influences. You understand? Values, norms. So indigenous justice systems such as community tribunals reflect localized conflict resolution methods in the cultural relativism. So universalism, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights opposes practices like slavery or torture, which are condemned globally. So no more slavery, all right? So no more torture, all right? So, campaigns against female genital mutilation argue it violates women's bodily autonomy regardless of cultural traditions. Some of these issues. So these practices are being condemned globally. So it doesn't matter your culture. Whether your culture accepts it will consider some of these practices harmful. And of course, that's why sometimes they are being criticized. Even if your culture permits that you marry on children, marry under 12 or 12, and then you say your culture and your belief system do not prohibit it, that's fine, but we consider it to be a harmful practice. So that's what it is, and that's why it's being condemned sometimes. So your cultural relativism may make you to say you have not done anything wrong, but so many angles to this issue, globally is being criticized. So the tension between universalism and cultural relativism in international interventions, such as advocating for LGBTQ rights in regions where homosexuality is culturally taboo, is a problem. Do you understand? So the global push for gender equality through education, Malala Yousafzai works in Pakistan clashes with cultural norms that prioritize boys' education. Do you understand? So while Malala was so emphatic about gay child education, this contradicts the belief system in Pakistan and, of course, in countries like Afghanistan, where practically kids doesn't go to school. So the message Malala was talking about is a contradiction to their cultural values. Do you understand? But we feel that there should be gender equality even in the educational system, and that's what we're pushing. And that's what we're condemning several aspects. So that get children or get child can get quality education just like their male counterparts. All right. So let's look at some political and economic barriers. All right. What are the political and economic barriers? Political barriers has to do with challenges arising from governance systems, political instability, or policies that limit development or equality. Government will come out with policies, programs that may not favor equality. Do you understand? So it's a challenge, it's a limitation. But political instability can also be a barrier. The economic barriers, systemic inequalities in resource distribution, trade access, or wealth gaps that perpetuate poverty are the issues. These are economic barriers. So political barriers are corruption, divert resources from essential services. No, several people are being accused of stealing billions of naira. You know, billions that was supposed to put in the road network, in the hospitals, in the healthcare service provision, they are being scattered away by those that owns the state. In some African nations, funds meant for infrastructure are misappropriated. You understand? So authoritarianism suppresses dissent and human rights. So censorship in North Korea limits access to global education and economic opportunities. Yes. North Korea is like it has disconnected itself from the rest of the world, if not because of recent move, and maybe out of sheer desperation of the Russian government looking for allies. Otherwise, I don't think North Korea was in the picture for anyone to have any relationship. All right. So authoritarian regimes like that of the ones in North Korea, some of the things I was talking about. So there are limitations, there are political limitations, right? Political instability, conflict zones disrupt livelihoods and access to basic needs. Without go and ask Palestinians, they will tell you their experience, a very bad experience. Political instability in Syria, same thing. Since 2010, has been a problem. Example, Syrian refugees face barriers to stability and employment due to ongoing civil war. The war is just ending. I don't know whether it's ending or it's the beginning of the new war because Assad has played out. But if care is not taken, something more than Assad will emerge and more political destabilization in the region will be going on. Economic barriers, global trade imbalances. Developing countries often export raw materials while importing expensive finished goods. Example, Nigerian crude oil. We export crude oil and then import the process. So we import everything processed, gas, PMS, gasoline, and other byproducts. You understand? So many African nations rely on exporting cocoa, but must import processed chocolate, limiting profits. So why can't we print uh, or produce and process cocoa in our country, in our nations? Nigerian crude oil always is carried, process it, and then we import the same thing back. Thank God for Dangote refineries. I accepted to refine some of the products in the country. So these are the issues. So debt traps. Debt trap is also another thing. Debt trap. So developing nations borrow at high interest rates and they are still borrowing. Now it's not only the federal government that is borrowing, even state governors are borrowing left, right. So the debt on our head is too much in this country called Nigeria. You understand? So and people sometimes borrow to go and consume. We don't borrow to go and consume. We borrow to go and do work and get a profit and pay back using the profit. But no, we borrow, consume it, and borrow to pay another debt. You can imagine. You own a debt, settle you borrow to go and settle that one, and this one remain. Debt trap, all right? Talking about economic barriers. Sri Lanka debt crisis will reduce funding for healthcare and education. I get the point now because all the revenue we are generating now, we are servicing debt. So when are we going to finish debt servicing? Inequality in wealth distribution. The richest 1% control a disproportionate amount of global wealth. Example, in the US, income inequality disproportionately affect minorities and rural populations. You understand? So only the few are controlling those billions. So lack of access to healthcare in low-income nations exacerbates diseases like malaria and what HIVs. Marginalized groups or communities are often excluded from what economic opportunities due to systemic discrimination. Let's look at gender, race, and class inequalities. Gender, race, and what class inequalities. Gender, race, and class inequalities. Gender inequalities. So, women and gender minorities face discrimination in education, work, and politics. And it's true. Check very well now. Check the civil service record. We have more men than women. That's number one. Check the political appointees and the elect the contest the contestable positions. Do you understand? Check all of those in the elective position. You discover that more men are in those positions than women. How many women are senators? How many women are House of Rep members? You understand? So these are the issues. So these are the challenge. There's one lady that contested election in Nigeria. She got one vote from the delegates. So it means that that vote came from herself. You understand? Wage gap. Women earn 77 cents for every dollar earned by men. Women earn what? Earn 77 cents for every dollar earned by men. So this is the issue. How much is your wife earning now? If you think I'm talking what is not correct, how much is your wife earning? And how much are you earning? I'm not saying that it's necessary that women must earn equal with their men, but let whatever they're getting be commensurate to whatever men I get. Do you understand? So political underrepresentation. Women hold only about 26% of parliamentary seats worldwide. 26%. That is a very tangible. Then we have educational inequality. In Afghanistan, restriction prevent many girls from attending schools. In Afghanistan, many are not attending school. Race. So let's look at case study. Rwanda has the highest proportion of women in parliament. That is 61%, showcasing progress in gender equality. And Namibia have just finished the election, and they elected a woman there to represent them, to govern them. You understand? All right. So race inequalities. So um, discrimination based on race limits access to opportunities and perpetuates social and economic disparities. So you are not my mate. You are not my mate. This is what it causes. And of course, it also has to do with race issues. So police brutality, African American in the US are disproportionately affected by police violence. So racial health disparities. Indigenous population often have poorer health outcomes due to limited access to healthcare. Of course, we have been having that challenge. Class inequalities. Let's look at some class inequalities. Economic disparities create a divide in access to education, healthcare, and opportunities. So access to quality education. Access to quality education, as whether families can afford better schools and higher education. Do you understand? Wealthier families. So housing inequalities, that's gentrification. Gentrification displaces low income communities. All right. So healthcare access. Poor population often lack insurance or access to quality medical service. So we are saying that gender, race, and class amplifies inequalities because they intersect. Any question? If I have any question, ask. Otherwise, I'm done with today's class. Any question? Odilia, you're welcome from Kenya. Any question? Any question? If there's no question, I'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow by 7 p.m. Thank you very much. Have a great evening. See you.